Welcome to East Coast Averages, the podcast that brings you stories from everyday people from all around the world. Recorded on the east coast of Australia, I'm your host Nick, and each week we'll sit down with average people who have unique stories to tell. Let's peek over the back fence and see what's happening in other people's lives. I never know what I'm going to discover until I sit down and start chatting to them. All right, East Coast Averages, today we've got someone on. Now, you could say that I'm only fucking interviewing people who I know, but you know what? Fuck, it's an indie podcast that I do, so I can interview whoever I fucking like. And I've got my mate Rhys on today. How are you, Rhys?
I'm good, thanks, Nick. How are you?
I'm good. So this is going to be a long one, I reckon, because I know a little bit about your fucking whole story and shit.
Bits and pieces. Yeah.
Bits and pieces. So we're going to be fucking taking off the layers of the onion, mate, till we get to. It could be tears, it could be laughs, it could be some. There'll be no outbursts, all right? So, yeah, what's your story, Rhys?
So, where was I born?
Where were you born, mate?
I was born in Wellington, New Zealand.
Wellington, New Zealand,
to my mother and father.
Mother and father. And you are Maori heritage?
Correct.
Polynesian. Well, they don't call them Polynesian.
No,
we were having this argument last night.
Maori and...
Maori. How do you pronounce that again?
Maori.
Maori. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Pakeha.
Pakeha is the area?
The white part.
The white part?
My mother's white.
Oh, I'm with you, yeah. So you don't have like a particular, this is going to sound stupid, but a particular tribe? Like the Maoris have
there is.
Areas.
Absolutely.
Which area are you from? Like, which is your...
Well, we're from Gisborne, around that area.
Yep.
So the west coast of the...
West coast of New Zealand? So how was...
of the North Island.
How was growing up in New Zealand? Did you cop my shit for being half Maori, half, what was the other word?
Pakeha.
Pakeha, which for those who don't know is what Maoris call whitefellas?
Yes.
Which means stinky something or other?
Yes.
Yeah, because we got off the boats and we smelled.
White.
Yeah, oh, that's cool. I can live with that. So did you cop any shit for being half Maori, half...
Yeah, you do. I mean, we live in a racist...
society, so you got a bit of racism.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's not going to change.
But did you get shit from the other Maoris who were like full-blood Maoris?
No.
There was none of that sort of happening?
No,
all right, cool.
No.
But you cop shit from other white people?
Well, it's just other people, I guess. Yeah.
Not necessarily white people, just other people. All right. Does that sound racist?
Well, it's not. I mean,
No, mate, what I'm saying is it sound fucking racist?
No, it is what it is. You know?
Yeah, I suppose.
My mother was disowned from her family when she got with my father.
Because she married a Maori fella?
Yeah, well, she got together with a dark fellow, yeah.
Well, that's fucking happened all around the world for millennia, hasn't it? Really?
It was the late 50s. So, she was only 16 when thereabouts.
Yeah.
So
her parents fucking disowned her. And that was it? No, so you didn't know them growing up?
No, not
that
really.
Side?
I mean, I didn't. It's very sketchy, my early years.
Yep.
My parents were also separated or divorced when I was 4.
Oh, okay,
So I don't have much memory prior to that time.
Yep.
But
so where'd you grow up? On the West Coast?
No, grew up in just north of Wellington, probably 15, 20 kilometres north of Wellington, a place called Purirua.
Small place or a big place?
Well, it was a small place then. It is bigger now. It was just a housing commission area, basically.
Yep.
So, tough, hard.
Hard and tough,
absolutely.
Tough living?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what was it like, tough living? Like, how did it... Were you in fights all the time, or?
Well, I mean, there was a lot of violence around, but it was mainly from our parents, you know.
So there's a lot of domestic violence back in the day?
Yeah. So, I mean, and this is not an excuse, actually, she was working multiple jobs, caring for 4 kids. So
you were left to your own devices a lot of the time?
Pretty well. Although the neighbourhood, you just walk next door to the neighbours or across the road to another neighbour. Or
if you had any problems.
It was a close community. Yeah. But there was, you're always afraid of getting flogged or
flogged by anyone in the street.
Well, anyone really. It was just
So what was school like? School was like that as well?
No, it wasn't too bad. Sort of. I have pleasant memories of school. It wasn't a great academic, but some of the teachers you bonded with and some lasting memories.
Yeah. Did you do much cultural stuff, like Maori cultural stuff?
There was a little bit. It's not like it is now. There was a huge...
Because you learn the language and everything now, don't you?
Yeah.
Which is a real pity that well, I guess the white fellas that stopped you, did they stop you from learning, like it was banned from learning the language?
No, it wasn't banned. It was frowned upon, I guess, but it wasn't banned. But when my parents separated, I didn't have that cultural side anymore.
Yeah, so you sort of went with your mum and the cultural side went off with your dad.
Basically, yeah.
Does that shit you that you didn't learn
it does.
the Maori language?
Yeah.
Does it sound, what's the Maori language sound like?
Well, it's Polynesian. So
it sounds like Polynesian.
Well, yeah, and different Polynesian. I mean, they come from a group of islands, so there's different dialects and... Yeah,
so there wasn't a lot in school, but now obviously in New Zealand they spend a lot more time learning the culture, the background and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, there's a huge movement in the late 70s, early 80s, and a lot of good work was done then.
Yeah. So you fond memories of primary school. Mm-hmm. What was high school like? Was that like?
Well, no. See, we had a different setup. We had primary school, intermediate school, and then high school. And intermediate school was only 2 years.
Yeah, what was that, 5 and 6?
Well, it would be
because we're a bit like that where I went to school, because one side of the street was the infant school, which was kindergarten 2 and 3. Then we went across the road to primary school, which was 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
And then we went next door to the high school.
Yeah, well, we had premise and that's right.
Yeah, so you had infants primary, which I don't think they do anymore. It's primary school. They have bloody...
Yeah, I don't know if that's changed back there, but I assume that it is because you're having 3 separate schools.
So when did you leave school? You went to high school?
I left at 15.
You left at 15 in year...
I was probably equivalent to year 10 here.
Yep.
So as soon as I hit 15, that was it.
You were gone?
That was our legal age to leave.
Were you troubled teenager? Were you, Rhys?
I wasn't a troubled teenager. I mean, experimental.
What were you getting up to in your high school years, Rhys?
Well, my brother, I had an older brother. Well, I have an older brother.
Yep.
And I was probably closer to his friends and my friends.
Yep.
And his friends were a little bit older, so they were into a little bit more at the time. So I was getting into different music. Smoking dope.
Yeah.
So I was, probably smoking dope at 12, 13.
Yeah.
But we were smoking cigarettes at probably 10, 9, 10.
Yeah, a lot of people were smoking ciggies back in the day at that age, eh? Like it was the real...
Well, it was, yeah.
It sort of wasn't...
Well, everywhere you went,
I used to go down the corner shop and buy my mum smokes.
Yeah.
From the corner shop, you know what I mean?
You could sit in a boat, in a plane or a bus or a cinema.
Yeah.
Sit and puff away. It was just...
Yeah.
It was great.
Good old days. I gave up smoking 20 years ago, and they were the good old days, man. Where you could fucking smoke wherever you liked. Yeah. Nobody gave two shits. No. You just sparked up and smoked. I remember sitting...
And they didn't even look at you. As a 9 or 10-year-old, they didn't even look at you. It's like...
Yeah, it's crazy. Now you'd be bloody...
Yeah.
There'd be fucking outrage.
Yeah.
You'd be gone, mate. It's correct. Child services is fucking snatcher. You'd be gone.
No, that's right. I know. It's
Parents
crazy.
be in jail. Fuck, he's smoking. Yeah, it's the whole. But I think smoking is actually banned in New Zealand now.
Yeah, it is. I don't think it's completely banned yet.
No, it's a certain age group.
Yes, that's right.
Will not ever fucking be able to get smokes.
That's correct. Yeah, I think it was the first country in the world, which is not a bad effort.
The fuck's on? Someone just sent me a weird message. I'll read it later. This is fucking East Coast Averages. Sorry, I shouldn't be looking at my phone while I'm doing the interview.
You shouldn't be.
But this is going to be a fucking long one, so I'm just getting into the fucking... So you left school at 15?
Left school at 15. I did various jobs. I had... I got into we were going into pubs and clubs at 14, 15.
Yeah. And drinking, like...
Oh, yeah, drinking. I was mostly weed or... But, that led into other things. There was, pills and coke and...
Like ecstasy?
No, that was just whatever anybody can get their hands on.
So that was it?
So you don't even know how safe it was.
You were just taking it?
Yeah. If you got a high, you got a high. If you got sick, you got sick.
You got sick? And what was your mum was just working jobs and didn't really know this was going on?
No, she didn't. She did find, eventually I got into a little bit of heroin, and she did find a syringe in my room once. So
Oh, yeah, fucking hell.
didn't say anything. It just disappeared. So
okay.
I thought, oh, fuck, that's,
What were you doing taking heroin, man?
it's just a thing, you get us in a circle, and I was probably 15, 16.
Yeah.
And just got in a circle.
Just in the wrong circle?
Well, yeah, but I mean...
You thought it was the right circle at the time, but you look back and think...
Well, thankfully, my mother found the syringe, and I just thought, well, do I really want to fucking do this,
Yeah,
So I stopped. So I've always been able to, if I can make a decision, I can stick to the decision.
Yeah.
So at that stage, then I was still smoking dope, but I just didn't do heroin anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Fuck, probably not a bad thing.
No, it wasn't.
Could have fucked your life up completely.
Well, yeah.
Although, have you listened to the other guy I spoke to from
Lindsay, wasn't it?
Lindsay? Yeah. I remember you saying after you listened to that one, said, fuck, he sounds like he's me next door fucking neighbour.
There's a crossover.
Fucking New Zealand must have been a wild fucking place back then.
No, I mean, it's anywhere you go. Sydney would have been the same.
Yeah, I suppose.
It just depends on the circle that you're in. And
Yep. So you didn't take fucking heroin. Do your kids know about this?
Yeah, I told them.
Not going to be surprised when they fucking listen to the podcast.
No. I told them all. So, I've told a few, close friends, but but that's all. It's something that you don't really want to come out.
Yeah, look, it's what, man. I don't know. I think these days people are more accepting of hearing stories like that than they would have been 20 years ago.
Well, I think the decisions we make all throughout life is the sum of what we are where we are at that particular time.
So you were going into pubs, drinking, you were doing odd jobs.
Well, doing odd jobs, and then and some. I mean, I was right in the heart of Auckland, and so it was just a good vibe. It was all happening.
Yeah.
It was
exciting. We won't talk about breaking the law too much.
Well, no, I mean, doing drugs was breaking the law.
Yeah, I suppose.
But it was also a violent time too. Like you go out to nightclubs and.
Were you predominantly going to like Maori nightclubs, like in that circle, general night?
No. Yeah. See, a lot of the people I didn't associate with like that gang culture or anything like that. So no, it was just like ordinary friends. From different walks of life, mostly from football too, I guess. Always playing in a team environment sort of thing. So you mix with those people. So you've got a mixed culture. So
fuck, we're 12 minutes in, man. We've already fucking smoked weed, smoked ciggies, fucking drinking our heads off and taking heroin. We're 12 minutes in.
Well, there you go.
Fucking hell. So you're in the big culture. When did you move to Australia? Because you're a naturalised Australian citizen now.
Yeah, I am.
So when did you? What was the decision behind coming to Australia?
No. I was working for an uncle of mine in Hamilton, and he had a restaurant, so I was working in that restaurant.
Yeah.
And
just dish pigging or
no, cooking and So. Doing the whole, I did a bit of cooking in Auckland before I went down to Hamilton. The culture in Auckland, it was just becoming. I was getting into. I could never take a backward step, so I didn't have a reverse.
Oh, okay, So you were fighting.
You go out.
You're going. You're getting punch ups.
You get picked. Well, I wasn't going to punch ups, but just putting yourself in that environment, the nightclubs, drinking, it happens. So and I didn't go looking for a fight, but if something came my way, well, I was more than happy to have a go. So,
Were you any good?
Yeah. You got hit occasionally, hurt occasionally, but
that's is it just the personality thing? And I'm not saying this to bag you out because I've fucking known you for 30 years and we're pretty close friends. But when I went drinking in nightclubs, I never used to I'd get pissed, but no one would fight me. So is that my general demeanour when I'm fucking pissed?
I don't know.
And and when I was in the Navy, if someone had a go at me, someone invariably who was mates with, who was a decent fighter, would fucking stand in front of me and say, "Leave me alone."
Well, that's
don't fucking touch him.
More or less what I was doing.
And so you know what I mean. So is that like a personality? Like you said, you couldn't take a backward step, but I guess my personality was that I wasn't coming across as a great. You know what I mean?
No, I wasn't. But I was like your mate who was standing in front of you. Don't pick on him.
Yeah, he's my mate. I'll fucking smash her. It's because I'm such a top fucking bloke, mate. Everyone loves me.
Yes, I don't know about that. But, like that fellow knows that he's picking on you because he knows he's going to fucking flog you.
Yeah. So I'm getting around the nightclub thinking, yeah, that dude can't fight. He's that dude there is definitely not a bluer, so I'm going to fucking take him on. Someone like you looks at the dude and says, that dude's picking him because he knows that my mate can't fight. Fuck that, he's gone.
Yeah, basically. Well, not so much gone, but I'll stand and...
Yeah. I guess that's probably across all mate groups, friend groups. There's the fighters, the non-fighters and the bloody...
That's right. So, and that's what you do. So you just, you back your mate.
So am I reading into it that you saw the writing on the wall in New Zealand and thought, I need to bug out of New Zealand? Because... it's just fucking
There was a bit of it because I was living in Auckland and that was just seemed to be every weekend that's what's happening.
Yeah.
So I thought I'll go down to Hamilton, and Hamilton's like a...
that's a tourist joint, isn't it?
Is that where
yes,
it is a tourist
snow and shit is at Hamilton?
No,
it's not.
No.
What's
it's
that
not
place?
Far away.
What's that place called where all the snow is?
Queenstown.
Queenstown, that's it. Sorry, I thought it was Hamilton.
Different island.
Righto, well, fuck. So I don't know geography.
Got no idea. So So, but Hamilton is a rural town, but it's a student town as well, university. Yep. So, again, party town. A lot of bands go through.
Yep.
That's when I first saw Midnight Oil.
Yep.
In a pub band.
Pub, the good times, mate.
Yeah. So, and they were all coming through. The Cure was coming through.
Yep.
Because it's a university town.
Yeah.
But then you're going out in that environment again, and you're still doing the same thing, but not as regularly. So. And the writing was on the wall, so I just thought, and my uncle sold the restaurant, so I thought, well, here's a perfect opportunity to get away.
What sort of restaurant was it? Just
just a cosmopolitan thing.
Yeah, just like whatever. Whatever was in at the time, they were cooking.
Basically, and it was a day and night as well.
Yep.
So you're catering for the office worker and for lunches and that sort of thing, and then at night you. Catering for the evening trade, so it wasn't upmarket, but it wasn't, wasn't
sort of place you and I would go for dinner, like just up the road. It's not a pub; it's just a restaurant.
Good food, lots of it.
Yeah.
So,
was that an apprenticeship you were doing there, or you were just cooking?
Well, it wasn't really an apprenticeship, but I was learning the trade, I guess.
Yeah.
So, formal qualifications, no, but I probably spent 2.5 years there and a year in Auckland.
Yep.
Before getting...
That's probably why you can't make rissoles, mate.
No, that's an opinion.
Because you didn't get fucking formal training in shit rissoles.
No, that's your opinion, bro. I've never ever had a complaint until fucking you come along.
20 years I was eating these fucking rissoles, and one day I just said, Rhys, I can't fucking eat your rissoles anymore, mate. They suck.
Sad fucking day that was.
It wasn't sad. Because every time you say, I'm going to the butcher to get rissoles. No, we'll fucking make them. No, go to the butcher and buy them. No, we'll make them.
You're so insistent, wasn't it?
No, we'll go to the butchers and buy them. No, we'll make them. Fuck. They're dog shit. No, they're not that bad. So, over to Australia you come. Why'd you pick Sydney over Melbourne and Brisbane?
I didn't go to Sydney.
Oh, didn't you?
No. I thought, well, everyone else went to fucking Sydney, so I'm not going to go to Sydney.
Where'd you go?
I went to Brisbane.
Oh, okay, Brisbane, yeah.
Flew into Brisbane.
It's not like anyone from New Zealand's ever moved to fucking Brisbane.
No, it wasn't that. It was just there's so many people in Sydney. All you hear is like, people are Kiwis living in Bondi sort of thing.
Yeah. So you thought, that's not for me.
I don't want to do that, yeah. So,
was this like an attempt to get away from New Zealand completely?
No, it wasn't that. It was just I do my own thing, I guess.
Yeah.
So I thought sunshine, bikinis. So I was fucking 19. So
you bought a one-way ticket and said, Mum, I'm going to Australia?
Yeah. And off we went. So I came over with a mate.
Yep.
And we were part of a share house in Hamilton.
Yep.
So we lobbed in Brisbane. We stayed at Kedron. That's where the youth hostel was.
Oh, yeah, I know Kedron, yeah.
Yep. So we stayed there one night, and then we said, fuck, we're going to the Gold Coast. So there's all this talk about the Gold Coast and sand, fucking sun, women. So off we went.
Yeah.
And lobbed at Southport, another youth hostel. And we were in there for probably 2 months. and lucky to pick up work pretty well after the first week in Surfers in a restaurant.
Chef and
Yeah. So worked in, I think the first one was a Japanese restaurant, and the only reason I got the job was I could speak English.
So, they needed an English speaker
basically
at the front.
Because everyone else it was a multi.
I was thought you were going to tell me you fucking spoke Japanese.
No.
I was going, well, that's something you've fucking been hiding for a while.
No. It was just where I could speak fucking English. So I got the job there and really enjoyed that. It was a great job because there were so many different nationalities there. You know, Balinese, everything was fucking there. So
you learned how to do sushi at the Japanese restaurant?
Yeah. So, teppanyaki, all those sort of different things that were happening at the time. So, again, it was the early 80s. It was 81. So, things were just starting to change.
Yeah.
So I stayed there and then just worked various restaurants around there for a while. And did some brickies labouring, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, just whatever.
Whatever came along. And
you didn't need a working visa back then, did you? And it's always been like that with New Zealand, hasn't it?
Still don't. Yeah. You need a passport now, and I think it's only which way is it to go?
To go to New Zealand, isn't it?
I think to leave New Zealand.
Oh, so you need a passport to leave?
I think that's what it is now. I can't remember. So
they probably just want to keep an eye on the numbers, mate.
Yeah.
Leaving.
Census. So.
Yeah. It's pretty much fucking Australia, New Zealand.
Oh, yeah.
You fucking just move over here and stay here. Like, it's very similar fucking culture. And
no, it is, absolutely.
Food, shops.
We talk the same language, got the same humour, sense of humour.
Yeah.
So everything's the same. Food's the same.
The only thing in Australia, we spend a lot of time claiming things from New Zealand as our own.
Yeah, you do.
People.
Like all our entertainers and actors.
If you're a fucking good actor, born in New Zealand, we'll just fucking leave that bit out. But he grew up in Australia. He's been in Australia longer than he lived in New Zealand. Still got a New Zealand passport. Yeah.
So I've still got a New Zealand passport too. So.
Have you? I thought you had to fucking relinquish.
No, you can have dual.
All right. Fucking hell. So you're in Australia. You're working on the Gold Coast.
Yep.
Did you slow down on the drinking and the fighting?
Yeah. No, again, probably just got in a different circle as well. You know.
Yep.
And then I was working nights. So by the time I'm finished, everyone's probably pissed anyway. So I'm not. So that you're still out there having a good time, still smoking dope and everything else.
Yeah.
But and it just seemed probably a different lifestyle here, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
And I was probably a little bit older, a little bit more mature.
Yeah, grew up a little bit. Mate, look, most people stop doing that shit when they get in the early 20s, mid-20s. You slow down a bit. Some people don't. But the majority of people sort of slow down.
Yeah.
And
I was just getting into the lifestyle too, you know. It was all new, like brand new, you know. So living country New Zealand and then coming over here, it's a bit of an eye-opener. So from Surfers Paradise, I went to Whitsundays and was up there for probably 8 to 12 months.
Doing cooking?
Cooking on the islands, yeah. I was working on the Whitsundays. So, and went up there with a girl.
Yep.
And who I met in surf. And we were up there for probably about 8 months, then went to Cairns, worked around there for about 2 or 3 months and just got too fucking hot. So,
yeah, it's too hot up there.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I found. I've been to Darwin heaps, man. It's fucking oppressive, eh?
Oh, yeah. And
that humidity is just like, fuck, how do you live here, man?
I mean, the lifestyle was great living on the island.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, your free accommodation, your meals.
Yeah. So you weren't making much cash. It was all.
It wasn't too bad. I was a chef there, so I was making okay money, but you're not spending. It's only alcohol.
Yeah.
So and then you get most of that free anyway. So with the barman and whatnot there.
Yeah.
So,
which island was that on? You're working on?
I was on Long Island. So that was it became.
That was big in the 80s, eh? Like those resorts up around
it was
Sundays.
Just as Hamilton was being built.
Yeah.
So
sort of died in the arse, really, haven't they? The resorts up there.
Yes and no.
You don't hear much about them.
No, they're still really busy.
But
I mean, they've been rebuilt and knocked down that many times with different cyclones and whatnot. So yeah. So, but no, they still make lots of money.
So did you have any? So you're just fucking working around northern Queensland. Did you have any like plans for the future? Were you thinking?
Oh, nothing. No,
you were
no.
just
I was just going with the flow.
You were just going on the flow. You weren't really thinking, I need to get a house.
There was no plan whatsoever, mate. No plan whatsoever. No. So I got sick of working somewhere, and I think, where am I going to go next? Basically.
Yeah.
So from Cairns, we went to. She was from Melbourne, so we went down to Melbourne, and that's the relationship sort of fizzled out.
Yep.
And then I sort of worked through different restaurants down there.
So you stayed in Melbourne after that broke up?
Yeah, stayed down. I was enjoying Melbourne. Melbourne's a great city.
Yep.
So I was working in Brighton, so like a affluent area. But then I got a job in a restaurant in Melbourne itself, so an Italian restaurant.
Yeah, was that where you were making the big 40-litre vats of bolognese?
Well, we were, that was like huge. But, the Italian mamas used to come in during the day and make all the sauces for us.
Yeah.
And then we'd turn up at night, do our prep to get ready for the night trade. But on a Friday and a Saturday night, you'd do 400 to 500 people.
Yeah, that's pretty busy, isn't it?
It was a theatre restaurant.
Yep.
And upstairs, downstairs. So there's a kitchen upstairs, kitchen downstairs. There were on those busy nights, you would have had 20 to 30 waitresses on.
Bloody hell. Is it still there, that restaurant?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is?
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was called?
Spaghetti Tree.
Spaghetti Tree.
Yeah, and still it's called the Spaghetti Tree.
Is it?
So, yeah.
No, let me Google it while we're talking.
Yeah.
Spaghetti Tree.
And the interesting thing is, it was only 5 or so years ago that I was back down there.
Did you go to it?
Yes. Yeah. Sharon and I were down there. And
you didn't run into the same people that owned it?
No,
They're not the same owners?
But the decor was exactly the same.
Yeah.
I walked through the doors like walking through a fucking time zone.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. The same pictures are on the walls.
Yep.
Because they had all these actresses and actors and famous on the walls and whatnot.
So it was a bit of a place to go.
Well, I mean, we used to do 400 and 500 people on Friday, Saturday nights.
Yeah.
So, but it was so
there must have been
close
some turnover going on in there, eh?
Yeah. Oh, like staff-wise?
No, I mean like just
money.
Fucking money, food, booze, fucking...
Yeah. Well, like I said, there was 20
smoking,
30,
everyone be smoking.
Well, yeah, they would have been
I love
too.
smoking in restaurants, eh? Here it is,
Well,
Spaghetti Tree.
Yeah.
Burke Street,
Burke
Melbourne.
Street, that's right.
Not a sponsor, can be if you want to be. Shout out, come get in contact.
Hey, look out.
Look out. Got one of your ex-workers on the show.
And it was a great place to
So
work.
you have good memories of working there?
Yeah, no, it was a great place to work. It was the last place I worked in Melbourne, and I was like 21, I think, and 20 to 30 restaurants on, waitresses on a fucking Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah.
I was having a party.
Yeah, you're all going out.
Man, I was just having a happy one,
Yeah.
So
why'd you leave Melbourne?
Well, it was only I was due for annual leave, and they're all students. Well, not all, but mostly were students at the unis around Melbourne. And a group of them were going to the Ninbin Festival, which was the second Ninbin Festival. I think it was 83. So the first one must have been in 73. And it happened every 10 years. So, and I don't know if they happened in 93 and 2000.
Yeah.
But I went to the one in 83. And so a group of us were going. And they asked if anyone wanted to come along. I said, oh, yeah, why not?
Why not, mate?
Yeah. So I bought a VW Beetle for about $400, I think it was.
Yeah.
$400 or $500, and chucked bags in, and off we went. So the car made it to Ninbin.
Yep.
Would not go any further.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it says here, 1983 Quarries Festival in Nimbin, New South Wales.
Yeah.
Yep, you were there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, and such a good thing. I think it was 4 days from memory.
Yeah.
And it was just like, multiple stages. I think there was only 3, but it was just, it was a hippie, alternates, just having a happy one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, Ninbin's still the ganja capital.
Yeah, they're still, there's a fair bit of weed getting smoked up in Nimbin. Oh, okay, it's probably a fair bit of what is it? Fucking prescribed marijuana being smoked up there.
Prescribed.
Yeah, well, it wasn't back then, but there would be now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, they'd probably be prescribed.
They should just fucking legalise it.
They
mate.
should.
It's legal in Canberra. Whatever you think, Look, I think it'll get legalised when they can work out how they can test.
Is it legalised or decriminalised?
Decriminalised. You can have 2 plants in Canberra, I think, growing in your backyard.
And you can carry a certain amount too, can't you? As for personal use.
Yeah, look, man, if they legalise it, I'll fucking line up at the dispensary and
for sure.
give it a fucking red hot crack.
Yeah, why not?
Because, look, how many people you see fighting it at the pub or stoned?
Yes,
You just don't, mate.
It doesn't happen, does it?
They're on drinking rum. They're fucking punching shit out of each other.
Yeah. We were at the festival, half of them were naked half the time.
Yep.
So you'd be walking around in the morning and there'd be a group of 30, 40 people over there doing Tai Chi, butt naked.
Fucking Tai Chi. I get doing Tai Chi, but why do you need to do it naked?
I know. I couldn't figure that one out.
Unless you're really good looking.
Well, I think, and that's what it was.
Or built like a donkey.
The pretty women and the big dicks,
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Hey, I can be naked. Look at the size of this, mate.
Yeah, that's what it was. All the pretty girls and the big dicks and look at me. So it doesn't matter what society you're into or what group you're into. Yeah. There's still the pretty people in the fucking...
So you didn't come back from Nimbin back to Melbourne? Were you planning on going back to Melbourne?
No. All the people that I went up with, they were going to go further up New South Wales or Queensland. So they were going to head to Byron Bay or Surfers or further. And I thought, well, I can't really. I think it was in the second week. I had 4 weeks annual leave.
Yep.
And it was the second week. And I thought, no, I better start heading back to Melbourne. But
you didn't have a car?
No, the car fucked up. So I had to start hitching.
What did you do with it? Just fucking dump it?
I just left it there. Yeah.
You just take the plate. You didn't even take the plates off.
Nothing. So
it could still be out there.
Yeah, it could be. Because it's not the first time that
some stoner's going through his crop, goes, oh, man, what's this V-dub doing here?
I know. And it's not the first time I've done that somewhere either,
Well, you've just left the car. Walked away from it.
I did it to a combi van in Gundagai once too. So.
Oh, fuck, it's busted.
Yeah.
So you hitchhiked, you got on the road.
Yeah, started hitchhiking and I don't know how many days it took me to get, I didn't even get back to Melbourne, but I got as far as Gundagai. And,
so you're going inland?
Yeah.
Was there any particular reason why you're going inland? Because
someone
picked you up?
We drove up the coast and I just thought, well, let's have a look inland. I'd only been in Australia for probably 2 years.
Yeah. So you thought you'd go and have a look at the...
Yeah. So I thought, let's go and have a look inland. So and I probably had to do with rides too, I guess,
Yeah. If you got in a car and you said, I'm going down the coast, you would have said, yeah, righto, fuck, we'll go down the coast.
I'm just heading back to Melbourne. Where can you take me, basically? So I got to Gundagai. It was lunchtime, and I thought, fuck, I'm hungry. So I'll go to the pub, have a counter lunch, and then start the road again. And went into the bar. I can't remember the name of the pub either, but I was talking to this bloke at the bar, and no, it was at the RSL Club. And I just thought, this older bloke, I was 20, still 21, and he would have been probably in his 40s, and we were just chat, and he, and the business that he had, he ran canoe trips down the Murrumbidgee and the Tumut rivers, and we were just talking, chat. What do you do for a job? I run these tours down. I'm a chef. And he said, what do you... And I said, I used to do a little bit of paddling in New Zealand as a kid sort of thing. But it was just fucking around in a canoe or something like that. Or tubes or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he said, what are you doing over the next couple of days? I said, nothing. He said, I've got a trip leaving this afternoon. Going out for 3 days, I think it was.
Need to cook?
He said, no, just come down and have a look, see what you think. And I think in the back of his mind, he's thinking, young bloke, fit, can cook. He might be an asset. So I spent 3 days on the river, had an absolute fucking ball. It was just a great time. And
Murrumbidgee River, that's just like, it's not rapids or anything. It's just
pretty well flat water. There was rapids here and there, but the stretch that we were doing, pretty well flat water.
Yeah.
So it's just a.
So you just tagged along on the tour. Sort of working, but not working?
Yeah, basically. I had, because they were open Canadians, and they are fiberglass boats, but they are big boats, so I'd carry a lot of their gear. So, and there's another bloke in with me, and then just providing a little bit of safety for people who are falling out or tip their canoe, paddle over to them, get them safe.
Get them going again.
Yeah. Because a lot of current because it's a river that's dam fed,
Yep.
So it's cold and there's a lot of current and it's pushing you down the river pretty quickly. So you can't get into trouble. You hit a tree side on, you'll go over, or if you don't do the right thing. And so I was just did that for 3 days, and these people have never done anything before, so you give them a day off or half a day of coaching. This is what you got to do. The best way to do, maneuver around trees and that sort of stuff. And then you're in the trip, and at the end of the 3 days, once we got back to Gundagai, he said, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, just heading back to my job." He said, "Well, do you want a job?" Oh, fuck, why not, So I jumped on the phone to my flatmates.
Spaghetti treat?
Well, I rang my flatmates first. I said, "Listen, I'm not coming home. You can rent my room out, and you can sell the furniture, like my bed and that sort of stuff." Then I rang the restaurant. Listen, guys, I'm not coming back.
Were they upset that you weren't coming back?
Well, yeah, of course they are.
But with 30 waitresses and such a busy place,
the turnover is really, yeah.
You've never cooked spaghetti bolognese, mate?
No, not for you. I haven't. No,
fucking, you need to cook some spaghetti bolognese. I fucking love the shit, mate.
Oh.
No one in the house eats it. I've got to call it meat pasta to get them to fucking eat it. What's for dinner? Meat pasta. Oh, it's fucking spaghetti bolognese. Yeah, it's fucking meat pasta, mate.
I haven't cooked it here then if no one fucking eats it.
Yeah, no one eats it. Cook it for me, mate. It's got to be better than your rissoles. Fucking sure. So you've gone from fucking New Zealand, North Coast, fucking spaghetti.
Yes, Melbourne.
Spaghetti cooker.
Gundagai.
Mm-hmm. Someone offers you a job. Now, there's a bit of fucking, do people still do that these days?
Oh, they do.
Just cruise around like that?
Yeah,
fucking,
they do.
And
absolutely.
Because I've always been very fucking regimented. Like I left school, joined the Navy.
But some people have that mindset. Not everyone has that mindset.
I know, but I sometimes think, fuck, is that the better way to go? But I don't think it would have suited my personality to do that.
And that's probably true too. I mean, we are who we are.
Yeah, so, that's what I mean. I look at that and think, fuck, I wish I had done that. But then...
But see, you would have slipped in pretty well straight away as well. I mean, look, when we met, we were two people from different
completely different
backgrounds. Backgrounds. But that first day that we met, we clicked.
Yeah, because I'm a good bloke, mate.
But we both got the fucking gift of the gab. We can talk to anybody.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
it doesn't matter. We can sit there and talk to anybody. I'm probably me more than
You're probably better at it more than me, but no, I could talk to anyone if I could be bothered. Sometimes I'm pretty lazy, so I just couldn't be fucking
there
bothered.
Is that. I can talk to anybody anywhere. I'll talk to somebody in the supermarket.
Yeah, and fucking invite them home for dinner.
Yeah,
and they end up staying for 6 months.
Yeah, it's true.
And not paying fucking rent.
It's true, mate.
Fucking hell. So there's something. So you were just cruising, like say you're working at Gundagai. Did they put you up, or you went and rented a place? Or?
No, I met this other bloke who he was a farmer, but his family lived on, like his parents lived on one place. He lived in another place, and he played in a local band.
Yeah.
So I met him at the pub, obviously, and they were pretty good musicians. So there was only 3 of them. Yeah, 3. Bill was the bloke that, or William, but Bill, and Jimmy Brooks. I can't remember the third bloke's name now, but he was the drummer, and Jimmy was the lead singer, and Bill was the guitarist.
Yeah,
and they just did gigs around, Gundagai, Adam.
Just rock and roll, bluesy sort of, Sunday afternoon, Saturday night.
Yeah. And good at it too, though. It's just a good pub band. Just someone you'd go to, beer garden on a Sunday arvo and just kick back and listen to some tunes, drink some beer, and have a happy one. He grew dope at home, of course.
So you moved in with him.
Yeah.
Smoke billies.
Absolutely.
In the morning.
Yep.
Took people.
Yep. Worked on the farm if I wasn't doing anything else, but just helping out. When there was work to do, like sheep work or something like that, I'd get the occasional day or week or whatnot. So, and worked in a couple of shearing sheds and played football.
Shearing or cooking?
Pressing wool.
Oh, yeah.
Wool pressing. Yeah. But because the canoe season only ran for 3 to 4 months, so then you're looking for other work.
Yeah, looking for work. Yeah.
So I did 2 seasons with a canoe.
Were you paying tax and stuff through all this? Like, was it cash work, or were you on the books, or?
It was cash with the canoes.
Yep.
But then and the odd jobs, though, they were some were cash.
And some are on the books.
And some are on the books. Yeah.
I suppose the restaurants and that were probably on the books.
Yeah. Because I did work in a restaurant in Gundagai for a little while as well with a mate there, but I think he paid cash too.
Yeah. Fucking it. Here comes the eight. Who's that out front? Is that the fucking Australian taxation? What are they looking up for?
I think there might be limitations on that sort of thing.
I think so.
They should be.
And you pay tax, mate. You fucking pay tax. Oh, I can't help it if the guys I'm working for didn't pay the.
That's right.
I thought they were looking after it.
Yeah.
Is that working court? I'll fucking take your.
I don't know.
They'll take your citizenship off you.
So, I didn't. I worked 2 seasons in Gundagai, but I didn't live there for 2 years because I worked 2 seasons on the river and I played football in Gundagai for 2 years as well.
For the Gundagai team?
Yeah, Gundagai Tigers.
Yeah. Did you get paid for the footy back then?
Oh, it was, but nothing.
Free booze at the end of the game. Fuel.
Yeah. And then at the end of the second season, because the older bloke had a partner who was a younger bloke, and he was my age, basically, a little, maybe my age, and he was more into the whitewater because he represented Australia as a kayak paddler in some world championships.
Yep.
Like a slalom course, and he wanted to get into the whitewater rafting. And I just started up in Coffs Harbour and on the Nimboida River.
You just started?
No, another company or another two companies.
Oh, another. So this is your mate in Gundagai was going up there to do some whitewater rafting.
Yes, yeah. They wanted to start doing their own rivers up or their own tours up there.
Yeah.
So at the end of but at Christmas of the second season, he said, we'll take a couple of rafts up to Coffs and do a reconnaissance and then start running some trips. I said, no worries, pick me. So the two of us went up there and we started running trips.
So it was just a matter of you chucked the boat in the river.
Pretty well.
And just sort of sussed out where you'd camp and...
Yeah, well, the campsites were already there because 2 companies were doing it.
Yep.
And we just had to do it on different days so we didn't clash with their campsites. The campsites were big enough that you could have one company at one end of the campsite and another be 100 metres away. So there was a little bit of mixing socially, but not for meals and those sort of things.
Yep.
And there were some campsites which were better than others. So whoever got there first and best dressed, really.
Yeah.
Things weren't regulated as well then as they are now, and there was no certificates that you had to have until after we were running for a few years.
Yeah, so these days you'd have to have a bloody certificate in outdoor adventure and first aid
and that did
river fucking
develop
rescue
as we were getting along.
Shit.
Yes,
but did that come about from some fuck ups that you were involved
well, there
in,
would have been
or you heard of on the river,
there wasn't that many fuck ups, but that would have been because they were starting to occur, and more people were.
Is that because they were getting busier?
Yes, and more people were trying to start their own little companies.
Yeah.
So legislation had to come in to say, well, no, you've got to slow down, guys. Some crazy shit.
Did you ever lose anyone?
No.
Not
the company. I've worked for a few different companies, and we didn't lose anybody. I have been on the river when people have
gone missing.
Well, not gone missing, but have drowned.
Yes,
yeah. So
is that stuck in the?
Well, different things. I mean, there's lots of things under the water that they get stuck on as well.
Yep.
So, and
look, that's just always fucking stressed me out with growing up. My dad always said in fucking freshwater rivers, you got to be careful of going to the bottom because you get stuck in a tree or something.
Absolutely,
your foot gets stuck in a tree, you're fucked.
You're gone. Yeah,
and you don't think of that, eh?
No,
swim in the ocean, you got to watch out for riptides and stuff.
And there's that much volume of water that you don't need. It doesn't have to be meters deep to kill you. It can only be up to your waist, but there's so much water there that the volume bends you over and you can't get back.
Yeah. Yep.
And snaps your legs.
Did you have any close calls during the time where you...
I don't think so. Others would probably
if you did, you'd remember them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had some big swims, but it was just because it's high volume.
Big swims to save someone, or
no, because I fell out of the boat.
You fell out of the boat and you thought, fucking, have you ever been in there thinking, fucking hell, how am I going to get out of this
There were a couple of big ones, and I thought, am I going to get out of this? Yeah. Because it just, it's okay if it's white, you can see, because they're not that far from the top.
But
when you get kicked back down again, you think, fuck, it just goes dark. and deep water. So, and some of the waters or the rivers that we were running, they were pretty big.
What rivers were they?
Well, the Herbert up in North Queensland.
So you went up to North Queensland to do rivers as well.
Yeah.
So you were based in Coffs Harbour.
Well, we did. We started off doing the Nimboida, and they were multi-day trips. They were 5-day trips. So at the end of our
did you have anyone who got halfway through a trip and said, "Oh fuck, I'm done"?
No,
I'm going home.
They were basically saying that after the first day.
Because they were just buggered.
Well, not so much, but out of their environment. They weren't comfortable. And a lot of these people were just like people living here in the mountains or down in the city.
Open up the paper, go, oh, fucking whitewater rafting.
Whitewater rafting.
Hey, love, let's go.
This will be fun.
Let's go whitewater rafting on the Nimboida.
This will be fun.
Yeah.
And a lot of people turn up with their fucking hair dryers and they, mate, there's no fucking power out here, So, and no toilets, got to fucking dig holes. And,
but as a company, if I'm coming on your trip, I basically just come along, jump in the raft, and you look after all that other shit.
Yeah. We supply the tents and sleeping bags and sleeping mats and all those sort of things.
What were you charging back then for them?
I think, Nick, for
trip because you'd be looking at probably
5 days, a couple of grand.
You'd be looking at $4,000 or $5,000 now.
No. Yes, now. Yeah. Back then, would have been a couple of grand, like 2 to 2.5 for the 5 days.
So it was high end.
I would say
nights.
high end.
Because I could tell I wasn't going on 5. I didn't know anyone that was going on 5-day fucking trips.
Yeah. And see, there was only a few companies that were offering those multi-day trips. There was companies that were doing 1-day trips or 2-day trips, but not 4 and 5. But so we used to do the Herbert in far north Queensland, which was a 14-day trip.
14 days.
14 days.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
How far would you move in a day?
Some depends on the river.
Remember the houseboat trip we went on the fucking Murray River?
Yeah.
So we'd be fucking, the boat would be going all fucking day. The boat would be going for 8 hours.
2-3 Ks.
And we fucking put in, and Kez and I go for a walk, and 15 minutes later we're at the campsite the night before.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I know. And that's what it's like. But the river's doing this, it's not in a straight line. So there's bends and twists and with the rafting, because the Nimboida, it's like a rapid, say 400 metres of a pool, another rapid, and it just keeps on going like that.
Yeah.
So every time you hit a rapid, and some rapids are bigger than others, but you've got to set up safety in case someone falls out of the boat.
Right. So you've got to put a rope in and do stuff like that.
Well, not put a rope in, but set up
have
safety.
someone there.
Yeah. So
and
one boat goes down at a time.
That's what you've got to learn now in TAFE to be able to go and work on these things, on how to set that up.
Yes.
How to recognise it needs to be done. But
how to read water and So
it was all ad hoc back in the day.
Well, it was. I mean, we had some really good. There were some cowboys out there, but there's some really good people as well. So we, mine was the first company I worked with was Canoe Tours Australia, and then I went to World Expeditions. Yep. And World Expeditions was a company that was running multiple trips worldwide, not just with rafting and canoeing, but trekking through.
You wonder how they did it back without the internet, how they
and there was nothing
organised all that shit without the internet.
Yeah.
Because I guess they just had an office wherever they had people sitting in the office and travel agents.
And that's it.
Phone calls, letters, faxes.
And that's what it was, And just that booking process would have taken forever,
Yeah, and you think now, we could go online now and have a 5-day canoe trip booked tomorrow with airfares and fucking
that's
done.
Right. And World Expeditions is great because there's so many different trips. I kick myself now because I could have taken advantage of worked in so many different countries.
Yep.
Like they did cycle trips through China, walked the Sinai Desert, trekking
you were
Nepal.
So you were in with the company, well known, good worker. You cooked, you guided.
Yeah.
So you could have, if you wanted to.
I could have done anything.
Yeah.
The one that I did do though, and I did all mine domestically. And one trip where we used to run was a 28-day trip where it was a 4-wheel drive, rafting, sailing, cycling, and 4-wheel drive and the top end as well.
Yeah.
So, which was fantastic. You did 3 or 4 days on Fraser Island. So you'd pick up your clients in Brisbane, chuck them in 4-wheel drives, and off we go to Fraser Island. Have 3 or 4 days up there. Come back to Proserpine. Or no, come back to Brisbane, then fly to Proserpine, and then do a sail around the Whitsundays in a 12-metre yacht.
Was that predominantly American?
Yes, it was.
So it was mainly Americans coming over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
American and Asian.
Which, you know what I mean? Like, if you're an American, you're looking for a trip in Australia, a 28-day tour where you go forward driving, you're on Fraser Island fishing, camping, then you're in a fucking sailing around the Whitsundays, and you're in a fucking canoe going down, then you're in the Northern Territory
then
or
we
whatever.
went up to Cairns and did whitewater rafting, then up to Atherton, like a cycle trip.
Yep.
Then do a 4-wheel drive up through the Gulf. It was an amazing trip.
Well, if there's anyone listening in America, because I've got a few listeners in America who went on a fucking trip.
Yeah.
When was that? That would have been late 80s.
No, that was mid to late 80s. Yeah.
Give us a call. Info at eastcoastaverages.com.
That's you.
Send me an email. Yeah. Fucking hell.
So that was good times, That was really good times.
Did you get any tour groups where you, on the first day you thought, oh, fuck, how am I going to go 5 days with these dickheads? And it continued to be fuckwits for 5 days?
No.
Where you just went, oh.
No, most people changed after
you could bring them
24 to 48 hours, because their concern mostly was...
It's your sunny disposition, Rhys.
Absolutely.
That brought them around,
Absolutely.
Mate. Which it works. If you're being fucking upbeat.
No, that's right. Yeah. But most people are out of their environment. So once they start to feel
quiet, they'll be quiet.
Not so much quiet, but just out of their environment, never done anything like this before.
Are these guys, do they know what they're doing?
Yes, there's that.
Safe?
Yeah.
Am I
going to have enough
husband
food?
and wives on their honeymoon looking at us going, the right thing.
Absolutely.
Are we going to die?
Well, and people did think like that.
She'll be right. She'll be right. What are they going to feed us?
And there's that. Food was a big one. So,
and look, that's what you want on a tour. Like, you don't mind.
Well, you're paying $2 fucking grand. So yes,
you go on a tour and you all day. You just want fucking decent. It doesn't have to be like 5-star food, but it just needs to be good, tasty.
Yes, tasty, enough of it.
Plenty of it. Fucking plenty of drink, whether you like drinking Coke or fucking beer.
Yep.
And a comfy bed to sleep on.
Yep. We did supply alcohol, but we encouraged people to bring their own.
So you did supply it?
No, we didn't supply it, but we encouraged people to bring their own. You just go and buy whatever you want. We'll carry it. So.
And what were you cooking them?
All sorts of, no, it was all fresh food because we had all our food in barrels, like big plastic barrels.
Yep.
And so we'd have one raft. Each raft would carry 4 to 6. The rafts were 16 to 18 foot, so between 4 and 5 metres, really.
Yep.
And would carry 6 clients. And in the middle section, that's where we'd carry all the gear. So they would get a little plastic barrel for their clothes, and then we'll have these bigger, like 44-gallon barrels that had all the food, camping equipment that we had to keep dry, and sleeping bags, that sort of stuff. Yeah, because no one liked a wet sleeping bag. So we could carry enough fresh food for 5 days. Yep. Like the multi-day.
What did you do for water? Just drink the river water? It was all right to drink it back then?
We used to boil it So, and you probably couldn't do it now because people just wouldn't accept that. Yeah. But in that, it's the mid-80s, late 80s. So people they were fine. And no one got sick, no one got...
and that's the other thing. There's no phones out there.
No, there's nothing.
Did you have
we had
beacons?
Well, there was no satellite phone. We had radios.
Yeah. So someone would check in and say we're at camp?
Well, no. See, we didn't even do that. So if something went, we had to get a helicopter in a couple of times, and it was a case of
for a busted leg or
yeah. And so in that circumstance, we had to raft down to where we could get into civilization.
So they might send you down in a raft, and then you come back, or
because we would call the rescue service, and they would because we knew where people were or where we were, they'd come and pick us up, and then
take it, and you'd take them in there, and off they go.
So, and even if that was a helicopter involved, because once you started, there was very little access to get into where we were. Yep. So, we used to do a 14 trip down the Franklin and Tassie.
Oh yeah, yep.
So that was
you've been everywhere, mate.
Yeah.
Fuck the Franklin. That was probably one of the better things that the environmental group has done.
Absolutely.
Was saving that fucking dam on the Franklin River.
Absolutely.
Because that would have been quite a fucking shame.
Oh yeah, it would have been devastation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was probably a pretty big win for the environmentalists.
Yeah, absolutely.
Down there. So now you're just cruising along, working for the fucking worldwide company.
Yep.
Doing canoe legs, cooking.
Yeah. And doing that for most of the year.
Was there sometimes where you just, at the end of the day, thought, oh, fuck, I couldn't be bothered cooking?
No.
What sort of food were you cooking, like salads and steaks? And...
Yeah, that was that sort of fare, yeah. I mean, and then we'd do like a bolognese or something, yeah. So
cook a pudding for dinner? Or
we're baking cakes for dinner and like desserts and those sort of things.
Yeah.
So self-sourcing puddings.
Were the clients interested in watching you cook and that over the fire? And
they were, because they're thinking, what am I going to be eating tonight?
Thinking, what the fuck's going on here? Because you were a younger man then, had hair, didn't you?
Well, that's right.
Dreadlocks down to your waist. You were a bit of a...
Well, no, not my waist, but they were there. So.
Yeah. Fucking hell. So you're doing that for a few years, and then what happened? What moved? When was the next step?
Well, I mean...
When did you start doing where they drove in the stuff at the campsites?
Well, Sharon... after the first year, when I came up with Canoe Tours Australia, then after that year, I moved to the larger company because they were just a little bit more organised.
Yeah.
And Canoe Tours Australia they wanted to concentrate more on their bread and butter, which is with canoe trips down the Murrumbidgee.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I thought, well, I like the adrenaline of the whitewater.
Yeah.
And I met Sharon, and she started. We were running trips with 24 people, so there'd be 4 rafts.
Yep.
So 4 guides, and she used to drive us in with the bus and the trailer with our equipment and whatnot.
Yep.
And but the access point where we started, there was only that access point, and then another access point where we got when we finished the trip.
Yep.
There was nothing on the way. There was no way we could get it because there's
so Sharon will pick you up at the end of it.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And whilst you're away, would she be in the office doing stuff with the company?
She would probably buy groceries and whatnot, or perishables for the
ready
next
for
trip.
the next trip, like organise the next trip and that.
Because we'd get back after 5 days, have a day off, then pack the 7th day, pack for the next trip.
Yeah.
And then leave on that trip.
Yeah. So Sharon was doing that all her life, wasn't she?
For that period,
Yeah, like organising food and cooking.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So, she was doing that way back then.
So you met Sharon. How did you meet Sharon?
Well, we had to cancel a trip because of the river height.
Yeah.
And that was in the first season.
Of course, that would be happening now with Cyclone Alfred going into the coast. You wouldn't.
No,
you wouldn't be
the
going.
risk is just too high. So so we had to cancel this trip. It was a really particularly bad week where we got probably 300 or 400 mil of rain.
Yeah.
So we cancelled that trip, and then we'll probably have to not do the next week as well. So there was 4 companies running, and we contacted, and we knew each other. We all socialised together afterwards and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And we contacted all the companies and we said, we're going to take a boat down because the rivers, when it's that high, we have fun.
Oh, it's good. You go out there.
We don't have to worry about anybody else. We just have to, that's us. So we each decided to take a boat down.
Yep.
And from my company, I was the only one that wanted to go down. And so I had to find other people to come. So I rang a mate of mine who owned a video shop, but because back in the day, they were in the video shops.
Yeah.
And
they were fucking good shops too.
They were great shops, man. Yeah.
There was nothing wrong with sitting on a Thursday, Friday night, going Video Easy. Fucking get it first time or get it free. There'd be like fucking 300 copies of a movie.
Yeah, you just go in and grab them. You'd walk away with 4 or 5 different movies and off you go. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
And you have them for a week. So, so I went and saw him. I said, what are you doing over the next, was that going to be a 2-day trip? So what are you going to do over the next couple of days? He said, well, not much. I said, you want to come down the river? He said, yeah. And he had a girl who was working for him. She overheard the conversation and she said, are you looking for anybody else? I said, well, one more would be great. She said, well, my cousin is just starting days off. She might be interested. I said, well, give me your address and I'll call around you and see her tonight.
Yep.
And
give me your address. Fuck, it's just different.
Well, there's no phones.
Different back then, wasn't it?
Yeah. Just give me your address and I'll come around and see you tonight.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, or something like 5:30, 6 or something like that, I sort of rocked around there. I hadn't met her before either.
Yep.
So that was the first conversation I ever had with her was at the video shop. And so I went around there that evening and met Sharon.
Yep.
So, knock, knock. And
so Sharon's cousin was at the video shop.
Yep.
Have I met her?
Yes, gay.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
I'll connect to them. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so knock, knock. Sharon opened the door and thought, hello. This is pretty good. So, and then I said, what are you doing for the next couple of days? I said, my name's Rhys. She said, my name's Sharon.
Yeah.
And I said, what are you doing for the next couple of days? She said, nothing. I think Gay had actually spoken to her.
Oh, yeah, so she knew. If I could just imagine your parents, this bloke shows up, come down the fucking river, ding, 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 ding. Have you seen that fucking movie?
So, and I said, come down the river. There's a whole group of us going down the river. So, and she knew nobody. So a big fucking step for her.
Yeah, because Sharon was always a bit introverted compared to you and Sharon.
No. Chalk and cheese. Yeah. So, so big step for her. And then, so I said, I'll pick you up in the morning, and off we go. So we hit the river, and so I had Russell, myself, and Sharon on my boat, and Russell had his own tent, and Sharon and I had to share a tent.
Yep.
And nothing happened.
But,
we just clicked really well.
Yep.
And once we got home from that trip, 2 days, we got home from that trip, and then we just started seeing each other.
Yep.
And then 2 weeks later, we're engaged. So
2 weeks later, engaged. Fucking hell.
6 weeks later, we're in Cairns.
On the back of a motorbike, wasn't it? Yeah. What sort of motorbike was it?
Suzuki 1100, GSX 1100.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Fucking nice bikes.
Fucking nice bike.
Yeah. So you're in Cairns. So you're engaged?
Yeah, engaged. We got.
How did Sharon end up in Coffs Harbour from fucking Brewarrina? Because she was born and bred in Brewarrina.
She was born and bred in Brewarrina, then moved to Trangie when she was 7.
So for those people listening outside of Australia, Brewarrina is outback New South
remote.
Wales. It's a remote.
Yep.
Remote
town, probably 2,000 to 3,000 people.
Yep.
A small or large Aboriginal community. Had a mission right just outside of town, and they weren't allowed into. They had curfews, and when she was growing up with, they still had curfews out there.
They still had separated.
Separated. Pubs are black only, or white only. The back bar was for black, the white bars for front.
It's funny that was still happening not that long ago.
That was the 70s, and
So a little bit of history about Sharon. Her dad was probably the last of the fucking swagmen in country New South Wales, because him and a mate were born regional in Cowra, and they just basically got on a horse one day and
took a horse and a buggy
and started pretty much what you did, but
yes, they're right, and it was because Ronnie
going through towns and just fucking
Ron, Sharon's father, was a baker by trade, and his mate.
Oh, I didn't know he had a trade.
Yeah, he was a baker by trade.
I thought he was just full-on farm hand.
No, he was a baker by trade.
Yep.
But really handy as well. But his best mate, who he left Cowra with, was a chippy.
Yep.
So, and they just headed off, and it probably took them 6 to 12 months to get from Cowra to Brewarrina, because they stopped off at different places and did work. So,
and that's where Ron met Sharon's mum?
Yes, up in Brewarrina.
Yep.
Because she's born and bred in Brewarrina.
Yeah. Which is fucking out there.
It's
Have a
out
look
there.
on the map.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
And it's a speck.
And that's when her mum and dad moved to Coffs Harbour, didn't they?
They moved to Coffs Harbour after we got there, yes.
Yeah.
But Sharon moved up to Coffs Harbour because Gay, she was, they were all living in Dubbo, Ray and Gay, and they'd just got together in Dubbo.
Yep.
And then they decided he got a transfer. He was in the coppers then.
Ray and Gay.
Yes, Ray Gay. Yeah.
Fucking
Ray was he was a detective in Dubbo.
Yep.
And then got a move to Coffs Harbour.
So that's why they went up there. Then Sharon ended up going there. Of course, another side, take a bit of a sidestep. Sharon used to work at the phone exchange in Nevertire, and that's fucking like pulling
pulling the cords in and out. Yep. And
and Nevertie is even smaller than Brewarrina.
Yes.
In fact, if you don't know Nevertie, you basically come out of Warren, you turn right to go to Nyngan, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's right.
And that's Nevertie.
Oh, that's Nevertie.
That's the intersection.
That's it.
The intersection is fucking Nevertie.
3 or 4 buildings, and that's it. Yep.
Yeah.
Until you get to Nyngan. So
fucking done. Nevertie. So she went to Coffs Harbour, then met you.
Yep.
Why did you just go to Cairns? Looking for work again?
Well, I was chasing the whitewater rafting. So I was enjoying what I was doing in Coffs.
Yep.
Sharon was working in a motel. She had been working in Dubbo.
Just doing anything in the motel, like reception?
Yes, cleaning, cleaning, that sort of, everything.
Breakfast,
Not cooking, didn't do that, but it's mostly cleaning, reception, that sort of stuff. But she did teeth hygiene in Dubbo. So she was a dental assistant.
Yep.
So she was able to get that sort of work in Cairns or she would do anything. Either of us would do anything. So every time, the first time I went to Cairns, she got work as a dental assistant.
Yep.
So she didn't work with the whitewater rafting. And I was working for a company called Raging Thunder that was just doing day trips down the Tully.
Yep.
They started doing multiple.
What was your favourite river? Just going back, out of all the rivers you did in Australia, what was your favourite one?
The Guida.
The Guida.
Guida, which is out of Inverell.
Yep.
It's the biggest consistent white water in Australia. It's water that's released for the irrigation. Yeah. I mean, some of those other rivers get big after an event like Cyclone
Albert or Alfred or whatever is coming over now.
But others were like the Nimboida was dam fed.
Yep.
So there was just consistent and fucking big and just fun.
Yeah.
Just really. Yep. And I mean, they were house-sized boulders that you were trying to negotiate around, and some of the waterfalls were just amazing. So there was only one really big portage that we had to do on the Guida, and the rest of it we could pretty well run. So and it was just fun. It was just so much fun.
Yeah. So back to Cairns.
Yes.
We're in Cairns, so you're chasing the white water.
Yep. So we did a season with Raging Thunder, and we were up there for about 8 months, and then the summer was coming in. So we got there in May and we left in November
because of the heat.
It just got too hot.
Yeah.
So we had a waterbed, and you didn't need a heater on the waterbed.
Yeah.
So it was just so hot.
I got drunk one night and slept on a waterbed that didn't have the heater on.
Cold.
I was fucking freezing. I woke up fucking shivering. When I was pissed.
Yeah.
Woke up next one, I was like...
Cairns wasn't like that, eh?
Do not sleep on a waterbed. It's not heated.
Yes, no. Well, you can in Cairns.
You can in Cairns.
So
I don't even know if you can get a waterbed these days.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that was our first waterbed.
They were the big fucking...
They were a big thing. Yeah. But
they weren't that comfortable. I don't think.
They weren't either, because that was one of the early ones too. So there's no baffles in there.
Yeah.
So the water's doing this. It's like...
What a stupid idea. Fucking waterbed, mate.
It fucking was.
Fucking weight. How much does your bed weigh? You're about fucking 5 tons.
Yeah. And you had to be so careful.
Move the bed so I can vacuum under it.
It
fucking weighs 5 tons. You're moving in a rental house. So is the waterbed going to go there? Fucking the foundation.
Yeah. That's right. It's safe. So, so we enjoyed that up there. And then we went back to, where do we went out to...
70s pornos, mate, is what I think of when you think of waterbeds.
Absolutely.
You think of leopard fucking skin, leopard fucking
sheets
and fucking porn, fucking pornos.
Yeah, no, true story.
Yeah. So you got out of there because of the heat. Where'd you just go from there?
And then we went back out to Trangie. So because we were going to get married, I was 86.
Did Sharon's mum pass away before you got married?
No.
She was still with you before? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Mm.
So you got married at Trangie?
Got married at Trangie.
Trangie's a little town too.
We got married in
people
Dubbo,
out there in podcast land. Listen to East Coast Averages across the world. I remember visiting Rhys once in Trangie and I couldn't find his house, so I went into the servo. So I'm looking for Rhys. And he said, "You see that fucking roof down there, mate?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "That's his house." So
everyone knows everyone.
Thank you.
Everyone knows everyone. So so we went to Trangie because we were going to get married. So that was in '86. So we did we're a few years with rafting and Omeo and Cancoban and all those different places.
Did you feel a bit sad going back inland?
No, because we knew it was only going to be temporary anyway.
Okay.
So, like 3 days.
Didn't it turn out to be like fucking 20 years?
No, that's right.
You left there again after you got married?
Yes, yeah. So we went out there. We were out there for about 3 months, I suppose. So I was doing a little bit of work in restaurants, just waiting for the day that we were getting married. 3 days after I got married, I was off down to Cancoban to start rafting again.
Yep.
So Sharon didn't come down because I was only going to be there for 2 to 3 months. So she moved to Coffs Harbour and got our house sorted in Coffs Harbour. And when I was finished at Cancoban,
went up there and kept rafting for a while.
Yes, yeah. So we rafted for another probably 4 years.
Yep. So then the babies come along.
Yep. Well, the reason we went back to Trangie in 91 or 90, the end of 1990, was because Sharon was pregnant.
Yep.
So we headed back to Trangie. I worked in the restaurant first.
Yep.
And we were living out of Trangie, so it was like a 75-kilometre drive in every day.
Yep.
But it was great because...
But living out in the country, people didn't mind driving 75 k's.
No.
It was fucking...
It was
some people looking and go, what the fuck, 75 k's? How close to drive 110 k's to come to your place for dinner and then drive fucking back home?
That's right, I know.
Like, it's just
That's what you did, yeah.
It's not that fucking big a deal. No. But East Coast Average is coming up to 1 hour and 10 minutes. We're going to take a break. He's fucking recap. We're headed across the fucking ditch, as they like to call it these days. I don't know if I like that saying or not, but
no,
I don't particularly fucking like it. But anyway, they did a lot of New Zealanders do. Came over to Australia, fucking had a few jobs, met the love of his life, got married, headed back out in New South Wales. I need to go to the toilet. We're going to take a break. Come back for part 2 next week. Well, it might not be part 2. It depends how I edit it. But anyway, so we'll have a quick break, Rhys, and we'll come back and see what happened when the kids came along.
No worries.
Thanks for listening to East Coast Averages. That's episode 1 of Rhys's podcast. There's 3 episodes coming up, so press like and subscribe so that you'll get notification next week that the second episode's come out, and then the 3rd episode will be out the week after that. And you can send me an email at info@eastcoastaverages.com. On the website, www.eastcoastaverages.com, you'll find a form to fill out if you want to come on the show. You'll also notice that we don't have a sponsor at the moment, so if you want to sell your stuff on my show, give us an email and we'll work some out, and I'll put a fucking top shelf ad in all my podcasts, and hopefully you'll sell some of your shit on my show. It's not a shit show, it's just a fucking show to sell your shit. Anyway, I'll speak to you next week.